Monday Health Minutes, sponsored by Valley Health.
Hi, I'm Melanie Schaefer. Welcome to Monday Health Minutes with Valley Health. Understanding your family history for cardiovascular disease is vital to managing your health. Family history can be significant influence on your heart-related conditions. So how does that work, and what should you be watching for? We're talking with Dr. Dan Snavely, the Section Chief of Cardiology at Valley Health, about this today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Melanie.
Family history is very big. I've always heard you can't outrun family history. So let's talk about the importance of it and what should people be watching for.
Sure. So of the 5 major risk factors for heart disease, family history is the only non-modifiable risk factor.
You get what you get.
Exactly. We can't change our genes. So what's important is to know if you have a family history of premature heart disease, meaning heart disease in your 50s. So if you have a parent or a sibling or a close first-degree relative that has had heart disease in an early age, then that's important to know. Almost everyone in our area has a family history of heart disease, but this premature heart disease is very important as far as first-time heart attacks or developing coronary artery disease. But not just for coronary artery disease, there's also family history for carotid disease and abdominal aortic aneurysm. So heart and vascular screening is important in these individuals.
Okay, so how do you bring this up with your family? I mean, sometimes people don't know the specific questions to ask, but like you said, it's not just heart, it's aorta, it's aneurysm. So how can we get specifics on what we need to know so we can take care of ourselves?
Find out specifically what someone, if they're deceased, what they died from, you know. Everyone will say, well, they died of a heart attack, but did they truly have a heart attack, and did they have some type of interventional procedure? Did they have stents at a younger age? Did they have bypass surgery? What type of testing did they have? Try to find out exactly what they've had. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging. Sometimes I have people that have been adopted and they don't know.
Right.
Interestingly, I've seen this recently from 23andMe and the other genetic testing that people can do, that this will tell you what runs in your family. They don't necessarily have to be that sophisticated about it, but that is an option.
That's an interesting way to go about that. So say you have a family history. What can you do to kind of protect yourself?
If you have a family history, again, that's non-modifiable, then you have to modify everything else. I mean, if you're a smoker, you have to stop smoking. You have to make sure your blood pressure is controlled, your cholesterol is under control, and that your blood sugar is under control. Also, make sure that you're living an active lifestyle. You're getting aerobic activity, and you're doing everything you can to maximize your health.
Okay, and what is your recommendation on that activity?
Everybody's recommended amount of exercise is 30 minutes of brisk aerobic activity 5 days weekly. You don't have to go get on the Stairmaster and try to do all you can, but it's as simple as a brisk 30-minute walk every day, 5 days a week, or most days of the week, to get the aerobic activity, get the conditioning going. That's the minimum. That's the minimum for all of us. That's the recommendation. If you have a family history, you also want to make sure that you're living a heart-healthy lifestyle as far as your food intake, your caloric. You want to stay away from the simple fats. You want to eat complex carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables. Run the color gamut for your food that you're having. Avoid excessive alcohol, and certainly avoid smoking.
Let's talk about screening tools. What things should you consider?
Sure. Basic screening, EKG, cholesterol, basic labs, blood sugar. Those are the things that everyone should have.
Especially if you have a family history.
Especially if you have a family history.
Okay.
And then you can get a more detailed breakdown of that cholesterol. Sometimes we get a little more sophisticated with that. But with the strong family history, definitely want to have that checked.
And what about medical intervention? What would you recommend for someone who does have high blood pressure? They just need to get those things under control?
They need to get those under control. Aspirin is a little bit of a controversial topic. We used to recommend aspirin for everyone that it is at risk, but now there's a predefined age group in which we recommend aspirin. If too young, you don't necessarily need it. Once you reach a certain age, then the risk outweighs the benefits for primary prevention, meaning you have no history of any cardiac event or vascular event, and you're on aspirin. But it's hard to take aspirin away from a cardiologist. But basically, if you're in the 55 to 65 65-degree age, aspirin is a proven benefit. Beyond that age, it depends what your other risk factors are.
A lot of things that people need to check in on and get that family history from mom and dad, even aunts and uncles. Dr. Snavely, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking in with Monday Health Minutes.